Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for being here. Monday, October 13th. Jaguars coming off a disappointing loss, have an opportunity to rebound, on the road against the Los Angeles Rams in London. We'll be previewing that game coming up hot and heavy a little bit later in the week, but I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about potential trade candidates for the Jaguars. And I think there's good reason for that. So we'll dive into defensive tackle trade candidates here on this show. Maybe have another show that maybe we talk about like maybe some other spots that they could potentially be interested in trading for. But there's a few factors as to why we're going to focus on defensive tackle here. Murray's getting fired up about it. But the NFL trade deadline is November 4th, so it's less than a month away. And there's been some heat on the Jaguars potentially making more trades than they already have this year. So we'll dive into it. Really appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out GenJag.com, pick up some new Duval gear, help support the channel, look good while doing it. So as I mentioned, November 4th is the NFL trade deadline. The Jaguars traded Tyson Campbell and a 7th round pick from the Eagles for Greg Newsome and a 6th round pick from the Jets earlier in the month, but last week, right? Middle of the week, Wednesday night, I believe that was, made it official Thursday. Subsequently, according to Spot Rack, the Jaguars moved some money around on De'Ami Brown and Walker Little, clearing some cap space. They don't have like this cap table right now for 2025 and even 2026 that looks like, oh, they have all this wiggle room and flexibility, but there are plenty of cap mechanizations and tools to convert 2025 cap hits and salary into future cap hits. So it's not really an issue about taking on cap space. In my opinion, you have to be responsible to an extent with some of the ways you use these resources that you have, these cap tools that you have. But the good thing is Shad Khan is always willing to do whatever it takes from a money standpoint, actual money standpoint, not cap, to help massage the cap, to help work around the cap constraints that are currently in existence. So that to me is not a big factor. It could become a factor if you're trading for a big contract where you have that contract you're taking on, and then you also have to worry about signing Trayvon and signing Devin and whoever, Travis, and maybe adding free. Certainly the Jaguars cap space could get tight real quick, and it is tight right now, but there's plenty of ways to move money, as I mentioned, cap, I should say. You have multiple reports suggesting that the Jaguars might not be done trading, including, Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo of NFL Network reports that they're interested in potentially finding more help on the defensive front. When I think about the Jags defensive front, you obviously have your two starting edge rushers. You have suitable backup edge rushers as well, in my opinion. You have Eric Armstead and Devon Hamilton as your two primary interior guys right now. And I don't think either of them is doing like a bad job necessarily. I think that you look at what they've done, and it's not like they're playing at a star level or like way above average, but they're also not like net negatives. But, based on these reports from Rappaport and Garafolo and looking at, could they use one more really big time player on the defensive front? I think the answer is yes. And it makes most sense if that player is potentially an interior defensive lineman. And probably makes most sense if that player can be someone who wrecks games in the backfield versus just like holding up extremely well at the point of attack. Somebody who really makes a high impact and maybe a really complete player. There's not that many of those guys out there that are going to be readily available, all that stuff. But we'll dive into it, talk about a couple of these guys, actually more than a couple. But there are 4 big name defensive tackles on teams with less than stellar records, okay? Now, Dexter Lawrence, a lot of people have pointed to. The Giants have now won 2 straight games, and Dexter Lawrence, fantastic player. Yeah, obviously, you'd love to have him in Jacksonville. He's also got that Clemson connection. The Jaguars have some Clemson guys here. And the Giants, they haven't won 2 straight, but they've won 2 out of their last 3, right? And they just beat up on the Eagles. Brian Daboll, Joe Shane probably working for their jobs right now. Are they really going to move Dexter Lawrence? That would surprise me. to some extent and on some level, any of these moves would be potentially surprising just because it's early in the season. And maybe this happens a little bit later. Between now, October 13th, and November 4th, there is time for teams to lose more games and for faith to be lost and for teams to potentially really have fire sales, quote unquote. But Dexter Lawrence, to me, would be very surprising if the Giants move him. But maybe you drop a couple more games, you're 2-6, and you feel like maybe we do need to see what we can get for the future to build this thing up. That's kind of the path forward. But Dexter Lawrence, he is stylistically a nose tackle, but he is a nose tackle that can actually really be a dominant pass rusher as well as run defender. He can do a lot for you up front, but he's in the mold, like, the 340-pound, just behemoth on the interior type of guy. That's where he's at, but he's a really good athlete at that size and all that stuff. So that's kind of where he is. He's also in the NFC, so you think about some of these big trades, and you usually are looking at not really trading within certainly your own division normally. Obviously, the Jaguars have done some of that with the Texans recently, but I still just thinking that the Jags are going to land one of these big fish type of guys, or anyone's going to land one of these big fish type of guys at the defensive tackle position. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to imagine, but these trades do occasionally happen. So, yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on what the Giants have going on. I'll be keeping an eye on their stadium mates, the New York Jets, as well. The Jets are really a team that are floundering right now, under Aaron Glenn, who I thought was a really good coaching hire at the time. But the Jets, they're 0-6. And, yeah, they have a superstar defensive tackle. His name is Quinnen Williams. And Quinnen is more of that, like, quintessential explosive upfield 3 technique. Maybe makes more sense just in terms of the explosive potential in the backfield. I can't believe he's actually almost 28 years old. Seems like he was just a rookie a couple years ago. But yeah, he's another expensive player. Both Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams up there in terms of the cost. But again, you have the ability to do some different things to move money around. I do think it makes more sense potentially for the Jaguars to add somebody on a rookie deal currently, someone who they have like the flexibility to have around for a while, but not necessarily tied to some big contract. I do think that makes more sense, and we'll talk about some guys in that mold as well coming up. But Quinnen Williams on the 0-6 Jets, maybe. You never know. They might want to hit the reset button a little bit. Quinnen Williams is a hell of a player, though. I'd be happy to have him in Jacksonville as that, again, quintessential, prototypical 3-tech. You look at Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans. Again, Jets in conference trade, Titans would be an in-division trade, and I just cannot imagine Jeffrey Simmons playing for the Jaguars. But would I love it? Hell yeah. I mean, seeing Jeffrey Simmons line up in black and teal, that would be something else. He is one of the most dominant interior defensive linemen of the last, it's been a long time. Since 2019, he's been kicking ass in the NFL, and he's 28 years old. He's on a big deal, obviously. But I think he's probably the best one out of all of them. Just game wrecker. If they could swing something like that, that would be insane. Now, what would it cost to do it? I don't know. But the Jaguars, to me, are very clearly in pursuit of a division title and an opportunity to try to win games in the playoffs and push for a Super Bowl this year. That's where I feel like they feel that they are. Internally, I think that they think they have an opportunity this year in the AFC South to win their division and try to win their conference and let the chips fall where they may. That's where I think they are, based on the moves they've been making. Would the Titans ever do this type of trade? I can't imagine they would, but again, you look at the standings and the Titans are 1-5, just one game ahead of the New York Jets. Trading a Jeffrey Simmons could potentially be a massive haul that allows them to have a lot of excitement for building the future of the Tennessee Titans, but I can't imagine trading somebody that good to a division rival. But again, we're just exploring options here. We're going to continue doing that. But first, got to remind y'all about Underdog. Fantasy football season is in full swing. And Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. I think it's the best user experience, in any app. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Very simple. My next opportunity here, Monday Night Football, got a doubleheader. I'm looking at Romo Dunze. He scored a touchdown in every single game so far this year. Is he going to go higher or lower on half a touchdown? You tell me. Bijan Robinson at 75.5 rushing yards, higher or lower? I like Bijan's chances there. Download the app today and sign up with the promo code Duval Daily to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Duval Daily. Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Must be 18 plus, 90 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present at state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Now, one more player, and this one probably makes even less sense for the team that he's on, but all of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers have won 2 straight games, and they're 3-3. But Derek Brown, and they've won 3 out of their last 4. Derek Brown would be a great fit. I think he is a, big-time culture fit, intangibly rich type of guy. I think everyone we've talked about would fit. Just they're damn good players and professionals. But Derek Brown, definitely someone who I've always liked. Each of these guys that we've talked about, I've always been a huge fan of. Jeffrey Simmons, not rooting for him to win football games, but gosh, his game is incredible. But yeah, Derek Brown, at least he's in the NFC, but why would the Panthers do that at 3-3? Now, again, they'll have, 2 or 3 games, if they're sitting at 3-5 or 3-6 or something. I don't know. I think it would have to be 3-5, but maybe. You never know. I doubt it, though. Now, the next guys are younger. Well, actually, Calais. I would love to have Calais back in Jacksonville. Obviously. I don't think that's going to happen. But the Cardinals are not doing super well. They're 2-4. He's been playing great football. I mean, he is still just so difficult to stop when he's trying to rush from the interior and get penetration in the backfield. At 39 years old. He is still an unbelievable player trying to get penetration. So if that's what you're looking for, somebody who can get into the backfield, Calais Campbell can do it. The Cardinals aren't winning a lot of games. Maybe it could make sense. When you look at the young guys, Gervon Dexter is someone who I think Dilla was kind of making some teasers at the Jaguars, potentially trying to swing for him from the Bears. And he's a good interior pass rusher. There's no doubt about it. Former Florida Gator, Gervon Dexter, he's more of that, 3-tech, right? He's not the big 330, 340-pound guy. Derek Brown, Jeffrey Simmons, Dexter Lawrence all kind of have huge frames. Quinnen Williams, Gervon Dexter, they're not as big. Gervon, 6'6", 312, plenty big, but more of that 3-tech type of player. In my opinion, he's strong though. He has versatility to do a lot for you up front, and maybe someone who the Jaguars could be interested in. He's an athlete. He's got length. He's 24 years old, so you're not talking about this huge contract type of guy the way you would be with some of the others that we've talked about. Gervon Dexter from the University of Florida. It's his 3rd year in the league. He's been a good pass rusher in the NFL. He really has. I mean, he's done a good job penetrating, creating disruptive plays, wreaking havoc in the backfield, has 11 total sacks, PFF sacks, which half a sack counts as a full sack and 77 pressures in his 3 years. And, he's only played 4 games this year. He has been out since week 4, I believe. Yeah. So I'm not sure of his injury status right now, and we can pull it up real quick just to give you all the full picture here. Gervon Dexter. He's not in the caliber of the other guys we've talked about, but he also wouldn't cost as much as the other guys we've talked about. I don't know. Let's see here. Gervon Dexter injury. Sorry, folks. Is he just inactive? What's going on here? But yeah, Gervon Dexter, I don't know the situation here. I guess he's not injured. Let's pull up the Twitter machine. He hasn't played since week 4. Obviously, we just had week 6, so why isn't Gervon Dexter playing? Y'all can roast me in the comments for not knowing this right now. I know Ben Johnson is a little bit of a and yeah, I know a lot of Bears fans complain about his run defense, for sure. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, if he had a little injury situation or what, but I can't figure that out right now. Gervon Dexter, though, somebody that Dilla was kind of flirting with, and he's a good pass rusher. We'll see if that has any legs to it. Another in-division guy that I scoured like every team in the NFL here. Tommy Adebawore out of Indy. I don't know why the Colts would trade a player to a team that they're currently in a division race with, but he's kind of that tweener, like in the 280s, played some end, played some inside, plays over the tackle some, but he is a guy that could certainly wreck shop for the Jaguars and help out a lot. I don't know why the Colts would do that. Looking at one more that I thought, maybe New Orleans Saints, they're 1-5. I was kind of trying to look at all these teams that are struggling and might want to get rid of some players. And I don't know how much this would move the needle right now. I don't. But Brian Bresee, another Clemson guy, he's been a moderately effective interior pass rusher since he got into the NFL. You look at what he's been doing so far this year, and he's racked up some pressure numbers. He's got 15 pressures this year. He's got at least 3 pressures in, 4 of the 6 games so far. Maybe he's that 3-tech style type of guy. Has some unbelievable physical traits. That's somebody I would keep an eye on. There's nothing that I've seen linking them, but the Jaguars are certainly, where there's smoke, there's fire, and Rap Sheet and Garofolo and everybody reporting that the Jaguars might not be done. I don't think defensive tackle is the only position they could get better at, but maybe it is the most likely just based on the reporting that we're hearing. Let me know who you'd like to see in Jacksonville at the defensive tackle spot via trade, what you'd be willing to give up, all that stuff in the comment section below. Let me know about what's going on with Gervon Dexter too, because I'm not too sure why, if he just was dealing with a little injury or something, or if there's more to that. But let me know if y'all know in the comment section below. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.